Hey, so I have some good news actually. I actually got a better microphone yesterday. So my voice is going to go from this to this. I personally think this is a huge improvement for my quality. So yeah, just enjoy the video. Oh, and I have two more announcements. I have a Discord now, so if you have a clip you want to send me or you want to chat with me, feel free to join. And thank you to these wonderful people who helped to narrate this week's video. Their socials will be linked in the description, so please check them out. When people say they are gonna die laughing as a hyperbole, most of the time they don't realize this can actually happen. Other known as Kuru, this incurable neurodegenerative disorder can actually make you laugh until you drop dead. This disease was spread throughout an Aboriginal tribe in Papua New Guinea, which almost wiped out the entire tribe. It is unknown how and why this disease works like it does, but one theory is that cannibalism spread said virus throughout the tribe, but is still unknown. Thankfully, this disease hasn't been found again since 2009, so it's safe to say that we are safe from the laughing to death. For now.
The Mary Celeste ship was a ship that set sail from New York City on November 7th, 1872, with 7 crewmen and the captain, as well as his wife and 2-year-old daughter. None of them were ever seen again. The ship was found adrift a month later, without its crew, in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. The ship's only lifeboat was missing, but the ship itself was in the mint condition. What happened to the crew? Theories range from pirates to waterspouts to even sea monster attacks, but none have ever been proven. Was this woman attacked on live TV? A woman called in on a live TV show with the intent to debate one of the hosts. Take a look.
Susan in Chicago.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi, Susan.
Hi, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Good. I wanted to talk about how y'all bring up extraordinary claims and how they require extraordinary evidence all the time, and I just personally feel that, that statement often said in the show is just a cop-out. It's really just a personal opinion, I think, and millions of people out there.
Neither am I. I'm just saying I rose from the dead.
That's just a silly argument. I mean, I understand
I
that
agree with you. I'm just trying to get at why it's a silly argument.
Well, I understand that that statement was originally said by Carl Sagan, but who really cares about, them requiring extraordinary claims and evidence?
So then you should believe I rose from the dead. Okay. I terrified her with my awesome logic.
Apparently.
Was this an attack on the woman on live TV? We'll never know, because the man hangs up before the others could say anything else.
On the night of February 8th, 1855, after a heavy snowfall, a series of hoof-like marks appeared in the snow. These footprints, most of which appeared to be about 4 inches long, 3 inches across, between 8 to 16 inches apart, and mostly in a single file, were reported from more than 30 locations across Devon and a couple in Dorset. It was estimated that the total distance of the tracks amounted to be 40 and 100 miles. The creepiest part about this is that the house roofs, rivers, haystacks, and other obstacles were traveled straight over. Footprints appeared on top of snow-covered roofs and high walls which lay in the footprints' path, as well as leading up to and exiting drain pipes as small as 4 inches in diameter. This disturbing phenomenon still doesn't have a solid answer today.
Spontaneous combustion is the phenomenon in which a hydrocarbon or chemical substance unexpectedly bursts into flame without apparent cause. As a result, only your body catches on fire and burns you. Most of the evidence is burnt. I say most because sometimes there are body parts left behind. One of the famous cases of this occurrence happening is what happened to Mary Reeser. It was around 9 p.m. on July 1st, 1951. Mary Reeser was alone for the night when the landlady, Pansy Carpenter, tried to deliver a telegram the next morning. The door to Reeser's small apartment was warm and the handle too much to hide. When they discovered her, she was charred beyond recognition. All they could find were her left leg and her skull, which was shrunk up to the size of a cup.
According to Wikipedia, a skyquake is a phenomenon where a loud cannon, trumpet, or a sonic boom is reported to originate from the sky. The sound can produce a shockwave that vibrates buildings in a particular area. The problem with this is that no one knows where they come from. There are some speculations though. Some reasons behind these skyquakes could be lightning from distant thunderstorms, earthquakes, and even large meteors entering this atmosphere. This video captures what appears to be one of these mysterious skyquakes.
Oh God!
What is it?
Sounds like it's raining.
Where's it coming from?
Sounds like it's coming from over there.
Where?
I don't know, but there's nothing there.
I've never heard out like it.
Seriously freaking me out. Like a really big train.
I've never heard out like this before. Sounds like ships, horns. That's freaky.
Just like the troll hunter, the big troll. There's nothing there.
What's that? Wow. Feel it rumbling.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
This is freaky. Oh no.
Is it coming from over there?
Check.
Up there, where that light is. Well, freaky, look. That light.
There's nothing there.
In the sky.
It's gone.
Well, my God. That is freaky.
It's wobbling again.
The Georgia Guidestone is a 20-foot granite slab inscribed with admonitions for a future age of reason. Some theorize that it has underlying tones of trying to create a new world order that is bent on subjugating humanity. A few questions remain though. Who built it? And what are the true intentions lying beneath its inscribed text?
On August 15th, 1977, the Big Ear radio telescope in Delaware, Ohio, received the most powerful of all its signals it would ever intercept. The signal lasted 72 seconds, but when an astronomer spotted it on a computer printout days later, he was so impressed that he quickly scrawled out the word "wow" in red pen across the page. However, despite many attempts to follow up on the so-called "wow" signal, it has never reappeared. Some questions remain though. What does it mean? What are its origins, and should we be worried? Some theories claim it was a meteor passing by, and some go as far as to claim it's an alien invasion in the making. Sadly, we won't know until we understand more about what lies beyond our planet only.
September 3rd, 1873. James Byrne Worson, a shoemaker that lived in a small place called Leamington in England. People knew him as a humble and very honest man. However, he loved to drink alcohol. The only problem with Mr. Worson was that whenever he became drunk, he used to get involved in outrageous wagers. One night, he started to boast about his athletic and pedestrian prowess. The result was that the fellow drinkers challenged him into a race to run 20 miles up to Coventry and come back the same way, covering the exact same distance. The man who challenged Mr. Worson followed behind on a light wagon. The two other men stepped on the carriage, a linen draper and a photographer. Worson began running and showed no signs of fatigue. In fact, the alcohol didn't even seem to faze him. Suddenly, Worson supposedly tripped on an object and fell forward. He screamed, and the others prepared for him to hit the ground, but he was gone. He had vanished. They had no other choice but to return to Leamington without Worson. So what do you think happened to him? Let us know in the comments below. On the afternoon of November 24th, 1971, a man calling himself Dan Cooper boarded flight number 305 bound for Seattle. A short time after 3 p.m., he handed the stewardess a note indicating that he had a bomb in his briefcase. She opened the case, and Cooper showed her a glimpse of a mass of wires and red-colored sticks and demanded that she write down what he had told her. Soon, she was walking a new note to the captain of the plane that demanded 4 parachutes and $200,000 in $20 bills. When the flight landed in Seattle, the hijacker exchanged the flight's passengers for the money and parachutes. When being questioned by the authorities, the hostages on board claimed Cooper was very polite. The plane took off again, ordered to set a course for Mexico City. However, somewhere between Seattle and Reno, Cooper had jumped out the back of the plane with the parachute and the ransom money. The pilots landed safely, but Cooper had disappeared into the night, and that event remains a mystery to this day.
In September of 1931, the Irving family claimed they would hear non-stop rustling and cracking inside their farmhouse's wooden panels. Their first theory was a rat had taken residence in there, but they began hearing growling and gurgling. After these noises, the creature gained an ability to speak to the Irvings. The creature introduced itself as Jeff the Mongoose, and the only person who saw Jeff properly was the daughter of the Irvings, Vori. She claimed Jeff was the size of a rat with yellow fur. Jeff told Vori that he was different. He was an earthbound spirit and a ghost in the form of a mongoose. Vori swore up and down that Jeff was not a part of her imagination. One famous quote from Jeff the Mongoose is, "I am a freak. I have hands and I have feet. And if you saw me, you'd faint. You'd be petrified, mummified, turned into stone or a pillar of salt." Another one is, "I was born in Delhi, India, on June 7th, 1851. I have been shot by Indians. I am a marsh mongoose." Jeff claimed that he was an extra clever mongoose, but the problem with this whole thing is that only the Irvings could talk to Jeff. So did they make him up to get popularity or attraction? We may never know.
There's an island located off the coast of Scotland where 3 lighthouse keepers lived. Their jobs were to keep everything working in the lighthouse. When their monthly supply ship came to the island to deliver the items necessary, the lighthouse was vacant, and all 3 men were nowhere to be found. The lighthouse logs supposedly filled in the blanks on why they were not here. On the 12th of December, Thomas Marshall, the second assistant, wrote of, quote, "severe winds, the likes of which I have never seen before in 20 years, end quote. He also noticed that James Ducat, the principal keeper, had been, quote, very quiet, end quote. And that the third assistant, William MacArthur, had been crying. Now, he was a tough man who never really cried, so hearing him crying was not like him at all. And the fears these men showed were the result of them being scared by a powerful storm that was looming in the distance. They all sat close to each other and prayed for the storm to disappear. The final log of the journal says this: "Storms pass, skies calm, God is over all," end quote. The problem with this, though, is that the witnesses claimed that there were no storms that were reported the days that they were in the lighthouse. The skies were always calm, so it begs the question, what do they mean by storm?
Overton Bridge. A bridge in Scotland has quite an interesting mystery revolving around it. During the 1950s, locals began referring to the bridge as the Bridge of Death, due to a number of reports claiming that dogs were leaping from the bridge into the ravine below. Since the original incidents were reported, at least 50 dogs have died from the fall, but over 600 have jumped but still survived. What is especially weird is that even if the dogs would survive, they would walk back up to the bridge and jump again, repeating this process until contained or they are dead. This is not the only significant event that happened at that fateful bridge. In October 1994, a schizophrenic Kevin Moy threw his 2-week-old son off the bridge because he believed that his son was an incarnation of the devil due to a birthmark. Following this, Moy attempted to commit suicide, but he was detained and placed in a mental hospital. Could it be a haunting? What do you think? If you made it this far, thank you. The people who helped me have their socials in the description below. Please check them out, they're really cool.